that is the background. When Papa says, it was kind full of spiritual fervor. It's a unique place where Lord is waiting for the darshan of the devotee. Or the devotee makes him to wait for giving his darshan. So you see the relationship that has developed between the Lord and we are all pining for his darshan, but here, that is why people go there. We have seen, even in South Kerala, we forgot his name. There is a little temple, very near to our Pranajit's house. We were taken there, and there, in the same sampradaya, they conduct bhajans. As you see in Pandharpur, Gandhi Cat would be there, white. Ganapati Tukkar. And then, when they sing this, actually, anybody who does not have any taste in bhajan, any background of this, he will also start chanting and singing. Vittala, 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 Vittala. And the way in which they present, bhakti is overflowing, overflowing. We did not have the privilege of witnessing the Vakari program, where people in thousands and thousands. We have seen in, what do you call it? YouTube. How, when the Paduka of Tukaram and one more, Gyaneshwar. When it is taken in the how many miles we don't know. A lot of distance are covered by
They come from Alandi and Dehu to Pandharpur.
Alandi and Dehu to Pandharpur.
Alandi is the Samadhi of Gyaneshwar.
Pune to Pandharpur.
Wow. 200
And people go there and people line up, devotees line up to feed them, to take care of them. It's a great Utsava even today.
Ashadha Ekadashi.
Ashadha Ekadashi, Ashadha Ekadashi. Now it's coming,
This year they have allowed go. Otherwise, Pune closed on this.
No celebration.
This time it's not allowed.
Nobody. Because of
Corona, probably this year is not there. But we can understand why even in 1923 when Papa visited this, when he says the spiritual fervor, and when this background, when we go there, and there is one more place there inside, that is our, though there was slight confusion over the behavior of the Pandas, we had the darshan to our heart's content, placed our head at the holy feet of the Lord and mentally prayed to give us the same purity of mind which Kundalini had. A little away from the deity, a pillar is seen, covered with gold-plated sheets. We were asked to embrace this pillar, which praise stands for the drama played by the Lord to show the intensity of bhakti of his devotee Kundalik to others. When Kundalik was immersed in God thought, the Lord, out of his concern for his devotee, covered his body with his cloth. But others mistook that Kundalik stole the Lord's cloth and they started beating him. But Kundalik bore everything cheerfully, resigning totally to the will of the Lord. Finally, the Lord appeared and saved him and later hugged him. So that is why we go there and so this background. All these are told me concern. Name Pranashit. My devotee never perishes. So this is something, by explaining, by this particular portion, Papa wants us to develop this relationship with the Lord. So the Lord is within. Vittoba is within. Kundalik is within. But we have to raise up to the Kundalik standard, Here he did not do any other discipline, excepting serving his parents meticulously, with care and concern. As Papa used to say, never in a slipshod, half-hearted way. Papa used to add one more word. The inner beauty must reveal itself in the outer action. When that is fulfilled, so it is not that, we have to do the traditional form of worship. Vithoba teaches us. Kundali had such guts, to ask the Lord to wait outside, not because of the traditional worship. In whatever field he was employed, he was seeing Vithoba and his parents. So virtually he was worshipping Vithoba only. So these are some of the thoughts that came.
So we kirtan composed by a saint of the Lord.
Nowadays in South India also, temples are coming dedicated to Vithoba. In Kumbakonam, or Vithoba, yes, a massive temple dedicated to Vithoba. Massive.
Long back.
Tenangur also, yeah. So in every form he is there. Through certain forms, he keeps on inspiring lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of people, even today. So Papa took us to Pandharpur, and whatever, even today we had the privilege of visiting in 1999 first, later on also. But in 1999, whatever Papa says now, we have seen that. So many people joining in a particular place. We got cluster, the cluster groups. And all these things were going on. One side a group busy performing bhajan, ringing cymbals. On another side a saintly figure is preaching Harikatha, And again at another place some saints with tambourine in hand are singing Abhangs of Tukaram. Some are sitting near the massive pillars of the temple deeply absorbed in meditation. Still others are found occupying the verandas reading religious books. Some again are dancing, only repeating Vittala, 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 Vittala. Oh, it was a scene in which Ramdas lost himself every time he entered the temple. There is always a huge rush. Ramdas remained in Pandharpur for 5 days, occupying a small mandir of Shankar in the banks of the holy river, in the company of 2 sadhus. Ram is very kind. Ramdas here came to know that Mangalveda lay only 12 miles from Pandharpur. One morning he walked the distance and reached the Mangalveda at midday. In the town a kind merchant served him with food. It appeared as though the merchant was looking forward to Ramdas's arrival. Ram's plans are always so when man leaves everything to him without interference. This is the point. Ramdas said, Ram's plans are always so when man leaves everything to him. Condition is there now. We don't leave everything to him. Even when we plan to go to Pandharpur, we plan, Then we leave everything to him without interference. Mangalveda is a small town where about 400 years ago the great Saint Damaji Pant flourished. The ancient and worn-out fortress in which Damaji was holding office for managing public affairs under the Badshah of Bijapur is still there. Damaji was a great devotee of Vithoba of Pandharpur. The way how he came to the relief of thousands of starving, famine-stricken fellow men by a loving and fearless act of charity, and how God Vithoba saved his Buddha by assuming the form of a pariah, formed the theme of the well-known story in this great saint's life, Vittu Mahar. The memory of the saint is still dear and sacred to everyone of this blessed town, even to this day. On the Samadhi of this saint, there is now a temple containing 3 idols, Vitoba, Rakumai, Damaji. Bhajan, puja and reading of religious books are going on in this temple throughout the day and a great part of the night. There is also a sadhu residing there. Ramdas remained in the society of the sadhu for 5 days. They were indeed, by the grace of Ram, very, very happy. The sadhu was a simple and childlike man, a true Shishya of Damaji. He was rearing a white cow, of which he was very fond. He called her Krishna Bai. By that, at that time, Mataji had not entered into the sea. He has written some beautiful verses in Marathi upon the Gomata. Truly, the cow represents the mother of the universe and is a grand ideal of all that is gentle, pure, self-sacrificing, innocent. Wow. The cow represents the mother of the universe and is a grand ideal of all that is gentle, pure, self-sacrificing, innocent. The Gomata is milk, out of which curd, butter and ghee are made for the use of man. Again, she is the mother of the bullocks that plough the fields of growing corn, that provide food grains for the use of man. Even her dung is of great use as manure and fuel. In Kathiawar, where there are no trees and forests close by, the common fuel is only cow dung cakes. Then again, after death, various useful articles are made out of her skin and bones. O mother, thou art indeed Kamadeva. Ramdas now started by Ram's command on foot for Bijapur, which is 40 miles from Mangalveda. He came across on the way a number of villages, and in almost all the villages he was welcomed by the resident sadhus of the place. In some places the villagers prevailed upon Ramdas to stay with them for 2 or 3 days, so the journey proved by the grace of Ram a most delightful one. At last he reached Bijapur in the evening. He went straight to Ram Mandir and receiving some prasad after puja, took rest for the night in a small shed attached to the temple. Next morning, Ram prompted him to go about inquiring for any generous-hearted merchant who supplied foodstuffs to sadhus. For every town or city contains a charitable bhakta. Ramdas had given up doing this kind of thing independently, for in fact foodstuffs were of no use to him, since he did not cook. Wonderful episode. If food was given, he would take, otherwise not. On this particular day, he himself started for the foodstuff. But in this particular instance, it was all the prompting of Ram. At last, knocking about 2 or 3 hours from one bazaar to the other, from one lane to the other, from one shop to the other, he was directed to a place where he was given some wheat flour, dal, and 1 anna of country. These things Ramdas tied up in a piece of cloth and was passing in a crowded street without knowing where to go. When he was in the middle of the street, he was detained by a call from a young man who approached him from high-storied building. Will you deign Maharaj to accept Bhiksha at my house today? He asked. If you can do so, you may come to this house at 12 o'clock. It was then at about 10 o'clock. Ramdas, accepting the invitation, proceeded towards and eventually sat down on the outer veranda of a shop which was shut. 10 minutes had not elapsed when he descried at a short distance an old man with a rosary of large rudraksha around his neck, standing in front of a house for alms in the hot sun. Now Ramdas clapped his hands, beckoned the old bhikshu to the place where he was sitting. He came after mutual salutations. He took his seat beside Ramdas. Ramdas now handed over to him, as prompted by Ram, the bundle containing wheat and also the anna piece. No sooner had Ramdas made this offer than he stared at Ramdas with a solemn, uncertain, vacant gaze. Then falling at the feet of Ramdas and clasping his feet, he looked up and said, At last God has shown himself to me. You are none else but God whom I was praying and praying all these years. Then again he cried out, Am I dreaming or is this a reality? Now Ramdas was utterly bewildered. and was quite unable to understand the cause of this strange behavior. What ails you, O brother? Asked Ramdas. The fact is, Maharaj, he replied, from morning I have been wandering for alms. I could get till now only half an anna. Here he showed 2 quarter-anna pieces. At home there is an old prickly wife, besides 2 children to be fed. To go home empty-handed means the starvation of these innocent children. I was praying to God in all humility, but I was almost losing hope when you, whom I look upon as God himself, called me and offered me food. O Ram, what a deplorable tale. O Ram, how many are there in the world who are always on the verge of starvation? This occurrence is narrated here in detail to show the acuteness of the misery of starvation that exists among the poor, downtrodden, and lower classes. O rich brothers, O rich mothers, O Ram. Now, parting from the old friend, Ramdas came to the house of the merchant friend who had invited him. Here both the merchant and his wife treated poor Ramdas most kindly. They pressed him to remain at their house for 2 days. During this time he visited the vast imposing pile, the Juma Masjid, climbed the turret, ascended the gallery of the gigantic structure, Gol Kumar. The masterly architecture of this building is indeed wonderful. The hollow dome of the building reverberates the slightest sound inside 7 times. Sound is also magnified. The man standing near this huge structure appears like an ant in comparison. Ram showed Ramdas all these marvelous things. After touching and kindling the devotional fervor in us through Pundalik and Damaji, an episode, Ram, because just now we read out that quotation of Parthi. Ram's tests are at all times coming unawares. One should always be prepared for them and face all vicissitudes calmly, and face all and in complete resignation to his will. Then there is no sorrow, no disappointment, no fear of any kind. When he was prompted to go for alms, he did not ask the why and whereof. All of us should pray, when is that state going to come to us? The prompting comes, we do it, that's all. Now we know there is a purpose behind it. Previously our intellect was interpreting the purpose, because intellect was guiding us. Intellect is telling us to act. So it had its own answers. But here, somewhere today morning, when we don't allow, we don't allow him to step, he keeps quiet, like a mother, watching. Only when we call, he will step in. So when we are functioning based upon our intellect, he doesn't. That is why we are all missing. Here we find, a person who doesn't go to alms by himself, goes for collecting alms. And when it is not, one house or something like that. You remember the description. How many places? At last, knocking about for 2 or 3 hours. 2 or 3 hours. From one bazaar to the other, from one lane to the other, from one shop to the other. He was directed to a place where he was given some. Patiently, perseveringly obeying the commands of Ram, which he has never done before. No? And tying it and then keeping it. And it is not that the old man came and told him. It is also him. So the prompting comes from within. however much we repeat, that episode stands out before us. And Papa is an innocent person, as if there is no mind and intellect in him. Just acts like a robot. What a stage. And then we move to the last chapter of this wonderful book. I won't say it's a book, it's a manual. It is a ready reckoner. It is a dictionary. Encyclopedia. What is not there? We remember Swami Chinmayanandaji telling us about Bhagavad Gita. What is not in Gita is not worth knowing. What is not in Inquest of God is not worth knowing now. Let us see what he says in the concluding. Sri Siddhartha Swami. Now Ramdas, catching a train, going still southward, reached Hubli at last. The idea of going to Hubli was put into his head by Brother Ramakrishna Rao of Bombay, who is a great bhakta of the famous saint of Hubli, Sri Siddhartha Swami. Ram took him here to obtain for him the darshan of this great sage. Later on we will find why Ram prompted him. It was past midday when he reached the mutt of Sri Siddhartha, which is about 3 miles distant from the railway station. The mutt consisted of 3 sets of buildings. The first one in the line was a solid block of granite over which was erected a tall conical gopura. This temple was intended to serve as a repository of the remains of the Swami after he had entered Mahasamadhi. The other 2 were extensive buildings constructed in such a way as to leave a large square yard in the interior. Of these, the second one was a dharmshala wherein reside sannyasis, bhaktas and pilgrims. Facing the mutt, there were 2 beautiful tanks. On the other side of the tank, there was a grove of trees yielding cool shade. The mutt was situated in a very charming and healthy surrounding. Ramdas, entering the mutt, was, through the kindness of friends there, duly introduced to Sri Siddhartha, at whose feet he prostrated himself most reverently. Here he spent about 10 days, most happily. In the mornings and evenings, there were readings and exposition of religious texts. Ramdas listened to, nay, drank in the words of wisdom that fell from the lips of the learned sage. Ram had so arranged matters for him that the Upadesh the Swamiji gave during those days happened to be just what would lead him further in his spiritual progress. At other times he would wander about in the fields behind the mutt and remain mostly at the tomb or samadhi of the late Kabir Das, the great Muslim saint of that place. Ramdas was clearly able to experience a spiritual atmosphere charged with peace and calmness inside the mutt and dharmshala, especially at the time of the presence of the great Swami. Sri Siddhartha was a great yogi of an advanced stage. He was kind, affable, hospitable, and full of tranquility. Papa had visited so many places, met so many saints. Never he had mentioned about hearing a discourse. So how Ram arranges, Because he had been, that so many tests were meted out to him. Now the time has come for him to consolidate all his earnings, and he needs some guidance, and that guidance was also given by a highly spiritually evolved soul. At that time, Papa did not say that you are going to end this, But see how things have happened. Now, news reached Mangalore that Ramdas was staying at the mutt of Hubli. His former wife, but present mother, as all women are mothers to Ramdas, and his child came there to fetch him. Sri Siddhartha Swami was appealed to by them in the matter, And the kind-hearted saint advised him to go with them to Bangalore. Just imagine. The saint asking him to go. Ramdas submitted to the order, feeling that it came from Ram himself. Ram always means well and he does everything for the best. So the intellect, is shut off, Otherwise the intellect will come out with half a dozen interpretations, How can I? Just imagine. How to put a shutter to the intellect. Unimaginable, I tell you, unimaginable. Ram always means well, and he does everything for the best. The mother proposed to him to return to samsara, to which he replied, this is final test. Final test of Ram to Ram. O mother, it is all the work of Ram. Ram alone has freed humble Ramdas from the bonds of samsaric life, and he resides now at Ram's holy feet. He is now the slave of Ram. Praise to him always to keep him as such, to trust and acknowledge his supreme powers of protection over all, and believe that he alone is the doer of all actions and possessor of all things, is the only way to be rid of miseries of life. Therefore, O mother, throw off your burden of cares and anxiety, and approaching the divine feet of Ram, live there always in peace and happiness. This is all poor Ramdas can ask you to do. Now, under the kind care and escort of the mother, we started by train and reaching Mormugao, embarked upon a steamboat which took them in due course to Mangalore. As the party came up to the Bandar, Ramdas, as bid by Ram, walking in advance, directed his steps towards the Kadri Hills, where he remained for the night. Next day, by Ram's will, he visited the house of brother Sitaram Rao, a brother by the old relation and a great Bhakta of Ram. A few days later, he had the happiness of the darshan of his Gurudev, who had given him the Upadesh of the divine mantram. Now, this was in 1923, Ramdas stays by Ram's command in a cave called Panchpandava Cave on the Kadri Hill and lives there a serene life, devoting his whole time in talking about, writing of, meditating on that all-loving and glorious Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. It is thus he concludes the clarion call to all the devotees. Even the last chapter, it contains what he has learned, the words addressed to his Purvashram wife. Ram alone has freed humble Ramdas from the bonds of samsaric life, and he resides now at Ram's holy feet. He is now the slave of Ram, and prays to him always to keep him as such. Still the RCC work is still not over. Reinforced complete, So he says, prays to him to always keep him as such, to trust and acknowledge his supreme powers and protection over all, and believe that he alone is the doer of all actions and possessor of all things, is the only way to be rid of the miseries of life. Doer of all actions and possessor of all things. Doer of all actions and possessor of all things. The me and mine has no role there, Me stands for the doer, enjoyer, sufferer. Mine stands for all possession, relationship. So both these are not there. He alone is the doer of all actions and possessor of all things, is the only way to be rid of the miseries of life. Therefore, O Mother, throw off your burden of cares and anxieties, and approaching the divine feet of Ram, live there always in peace and happiness. This is not a tall talk. This is coming from nearly 3 years of tapasya. 2 years inside the house, 1 year in the open. So the final test was also given. When we say that this is the manual, now we all understand, something about what Mataji has been hammering. Something. When Puja Mataji was insisting all devotees the need to read every now and then 11 times the Beloved Papa's first book, In Quest of God, at a stretch in 11 days, nobody really gave serious thought to it, nor tried to understand how we could help in one's spiritual journey. We all remember we did it in ashram. Every day people will assemble. I think morning 5 o'clock we will start. And by 8:30 we will used to close. One time reading. And it will be in Rajdhani speed. Rajdhani speed, you remember. The people used to come to Saludam. They used to sit there. Of course, that must have laid the seed now. Nothing happened without his will. So later on, it slowly dawned upon those who followed her advice that by this repeated act of reading the same at a deep level, not at the surface level, it helps to a very extent not only understand, assimilate and absorb everything about spiritual journey, but also provides whatever base material that is needed for an earnest aspirant at the start of the spiritual journey, and clears many hurdles that one may come across while moving towards the ultimate. The theme of Beloved Papa's life and teaching lies in total, unqualified surrender to the Lord of the universe, who is in all, who is all. That is why at the very start of the book we find the 22nd sloka in chapter 9 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So right from the start, now we follow. Actually the book has not come to a close, only the narrative part has come to a close. Then comes the interesting portion called In the Cave. Heart pourings when Ramdas resides in the cave. Tomorrow we will just have a glimpse of it. But here, unlike the reading, here when you have prepared, when you have traveled, the mind must have now reached a stage where there could be 100% concentration. Because so far in the narrative, either there is a nature, or there are persons, or there are situations. But in this, nothing. Only the indweller Ram, the seeker or the sadhaka Ramdas, is an inner dialogue between them. There is nothing outside. It is absolutely, purely, 100% subjective. Now we remember why Papa praised this here. If we go through, if we travel with Papa, if we are in a position to imbibe certain themes through this travel, our mind becomes mature enough, prepared enough conducive to enter into a different type of sadhana. The other one is very easy. Compared to this, we can say we are entering into the PhD course. Because to develop this stage, where the dialogue goes on, and the dialogue still remains with him, and for the sake of posterity, for the sake of all of us, on those days where all limitations are there in the Panchapandava cave, he was able to jot down. Heart pourings may come up, but to jot down with the same fervor, to put it in writing. I'm sure that when we start reading it, we will be transported altogether to a different realm. And it is an exercise where he wants us to train a dialogue between the indwelling spirit and the sense of individuality. The Lord and the Bhakta. How he places everything frankly. How he gets the relief. Because at times Ram will be addressing. At times Ramdas will be talking, pleading. At times Ram is admonishing him. At times Ramdas accepts his present state. We will find that. And this will be followed by a few poems. Because out of the ecstasy, when he couldn't contain, many things got revealed in the form of poems. Because previously he had a good hand in English and in the Indian English literature, Ram saw to it that the revelations come out in the form of beautiful poems. Simple worded, not complicated. So from tomorrow onwards, we will go through that. In the meantime, we request everyone to go through from first stage, that is the sloga, Ananya Siddhayantoma, up to this, up to his reaching the Panchapandava cave. Find out, then close the book. Remember this. Close the book and start finding out what this book stands for or what stands out in my memory. What are the guiding principles that have appealed to me? Our intention is to remove the inquest of God, Papa, everything from the scene, and we should be able to feel the indwelling Ram and ourselves. So for that, what is it that stands out through this book? Our ultimate aim is to develop this, The Lord who is inside, who is also outside, has facilitated us to get in touch with a great saint like Beloved Papa, and who now took us with him for a number of days, a spiritual yatra, a parivradika yatra, along with him. And every time he made us to hear the dialogue he had with Ram, how Ram prepared him, the first 1 or 2, 3 chapters, and after the fourth, from the fourth onwards, how he started meeting out different types of tests to purify him, so that he becomes fit enough to become his totally. The more he was subjected to go through those tests, the more he became purer and purer and purer and purer. In our case, right from one day he is pure. But Papa was not satisfied. So Papa wanted that 100% A plus, 100% A plus in everything. So Ram knew this, and Ram subjected him to go through a series of tests spread out in 9 months or 8 months, which we don't know very clearly. And there, absolutely with nothing to fall back upon, accepting Ram. Accepting Ram, nothing was there to fall back upon. We found that. Okay, we are not in a position to do anything like that. But at the same time, now our prayer is, don't make it an academic exercise to memorize this, to tell to somebody. That is easy. The intellect can be trained to memorize the whole thing and to bring it out beautifully before others. So that part we will leave. Papa did not preach. As a sadhaka, he did not preach. We are all sadhakas. So it is not for preaching that we are. So intellectual exercise is enough. We will stop that. We will try to find out what is it that me and him, what is it that binds me, connects me between me and him. So after the tomorrow's also, we will start thinking about it. And when we meet on Tuesday, probably we can make a trial, where we are trying to find out the practical, how do I apply it? How do I see that God is working in me? Not a big. Now I know that whether I know Him or not, whether I recognize Him or not, whether I am fit enough or not, whether I am entitled or not, God has been functioning through me. He gave me, but every time I did not remember Him. Whenever any plus point again I attributed to my own capacity. When there was any minus, I used to put the blame on the situation or person or objects. In both cases, I never brought God into the picture. So now, after traveling with Papa, after Ram and Papa facilitating us to go through intensely through all these episodes, now slowly I am trying to parade my life before me. And in my own way, I try to connect up. So that at the end of this process, I become first I become aware of His nearness, then I slowly get a glimpse of His presence, and then I also get once in a way the glimpse of the vision of Him in and everywhere around us. And that will be the platform from which I can further mass and become one with Him. So the 4 stages which Papa advocated to all of us: nearness, presence, vision of Him, and then become one with Him. So let this be very clear to all of us, and let us all immensely do it. Never we think that the inquest of God is over. The inquest of God can never be over. It is only a comma. Even if we are blessed with some facets of Him, there are many facets that are still to be explored, experienced by us. So the inquest of God continues. Only the narrative reading has been stopped, that's proposed. So let this background be firm in our mind.
May end when we read the 4th stage. With the 4th stage, nearness, presence, vision, one wicket. Then it may stop perhaps.
Then nobody will be there to say.
But
up to that, so long as we are a seeker, the comma will be there. Because the seeker and thought become one means there is a subject-object relationship is not there. You remember when in Yoga Vasishtha, when he explained about great void, Vasishtha Muni says, it is a state where there is no subject-object relationship. So there is no coma full stop there. No? So these three states, let us try now. First we have to develop the nearness. We might have developed. Then the stage comes with person. That also he may give us some. Otherwise we will not be sitting and reading it. Somewhere all these things have been shown. They are just like a spark. No? You have seen a spark like when we scratch this matchbox. The spark comes, and then it steadily lifts the stick. But what is needed is that spark. So all of us must have had this spark in our life, which is called the presence. And now we are all trying to consolidate all that we have been blessed with, facilitated with, to see that the fullest benefit is being derived out of it. We pray, Papa, you have given us all these wonderful thoughts. You took us with us. You were kind enough to take us slowly, You are not a Rajdhani speed reading. You made us to stop, pause. You made us to go within. You made us to catch some important pearls of wisdom. And now, when the narrative ended, you give us the feeling that still there are many unexplored things. So what is implied or implicit, kindly reveal to us with prayer. So with that we will put Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram 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 Om.